What's the underrated things from the Viking Age? Gender norms? We have this weird tendency to project expectations of gender on the past and believe that men were always men and women were always women and it never changed, but what it meant to be a man or a woman has changed a lot throughout history. Less than a century ago, pink was a man's color. But ask Barbie how she feels about it today, and a couple of centuries ago, men were dressing very ostentatiously, peacocking out, but that's very much not typical in modern Western cultures today. And so you might imagine, like 1,000 years ago in the Viking Age, things might be a little bit different. Let's take Beowulf for an example. A lot of ink has been spilled about how the characters in Beowulf are very archetypal, very idealized representation of their roles in society. And therefore, we can probably expect that the things that Hrothgar and Beowulf do were pretty typical, or at least expected, of those people in that role in society. So that makes it all the more interesting when Beowulf and Hrothgar are shedding tears and openly weeping when they're about to part company about how much they will miss each other. And Hrothgar even goes so far as to tenderly kiss Beowulf goodbye. So apparently, when it comes to masculinity, open and deep physical displays of affection was on the table. Now, let's looking at the other side of the spectrum with women. We have a lot of examples, mostly in Icelandic sagas, of when men are trying to pass down their heritage, down their family, and there is no son to pass it down to. They might treat a daughter as a son, which means they get all of the privileges of men. They are treated as sons in regards to warfare, in regards to politics, engaging in family feuds, and they would continue to fill this role until they married and settled down and had kids of their own to pass something on to their son. And a lot of these women didn't actually give up that role because they didn't want to give up the masculine privilege. And this isn't even getting into magic. There is so much to be said about vulvas and saethers and saethkonas and so forth being related to gender transgression. In fact, the chief gods of the Norse mythology, Odin himself is said to have practiced saether and have been called ergi, or unmanly, for it. In fact, some scholars, such as Neil Price, have suggested the possibility that Odin may have actually represented a third gender that was typical of idealized magical practitioners who practice saether. And there's been a lot about elves, such as what Alaric Hall has mentioned in elves being very much feminine males, while Hagtessin being masculine females. There's a lot of complication with gender.